Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 7, 2024. And in the news this evening, policeman arrested after being held with a ganja and the cash on station compound. A 28-year-old police constable assigned to the guard room at the Montego Bay Police Station in St. James has been arrested on reasonable suspicion of possession and dealing in ganja. The constable was found with a contraband and cash on the police station's compound on Friday. He was reportedly seated in his car when a search was conducted by cops. Thousands of dollars and a host of contraband were reportedly uncovered during the search. The constable was then arrested. He is expected to be formally charged. 3 teens arrested over bus park stabbing in St. Anne. 3 teens were arrested on Saturday after the stabbing of a 15-year-old boy at the Brownstown bus park in St. Anne. The injured boy remains hospitalized. Those arrested are being held on suspicion of wounding with intent. It is reported that about 8 p.m., the 15-year-old was at the bus park when a dispute developed between him and the 3 other teens, ages 14, 15, and 16. A knife was brought into play and he was stabbed several times in the upper body. He reportedly ran from the scene and was rescued by relatives who rushed him to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. He was admitted for injuries received. A report was subsequently made to the Brownstown police and an investigation led to the arrest of the 3 teenagers. JCF mourns the death of second officer in as many days. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has been plunged into mourning once more following the passing of a detective sergeant. The deceased is Willie Porter, a veteran lawman who died at the University Hospital of the West Indies on Sunday. The news understands he was admitted there on Thursday for an undisclosed medical issue. This is the second member of the JCF to die in as many days. On Friday, a police corporal attached to the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse died after complaining of not feeling well. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. It is unclear what caused the corporal's sudden illness. Preliminary investigation reveals a burnt-out plane in St. Elizabeth registered in Venezuela. Local aviation officials are set to make contact with their Venezuelan counterparts as they continue their probe into the burnt-out plane found in St. Elizabeth on Friday night. This latest development follows the discovery among the wreckage of a partial registration number, YV, which is the aircraft registration prefix for Venezuela. The news also understands that the aircraft and the engine data plates appeared to have been removed, as investigators did not find them. It has also been revealed that checks made by the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority showed that the aircraft did not operate from any of the island's airports. The contact with INAC, the Venezuelan Civil Aviation Authority, is to trace the aircraft to an owner. The wreckage of the aircraft was found in a swamp in the Elembres River area northeast of Santa Cruz. The area, which forms a part of the Upper Black River morass, is reputed to have been used as a landing site for small aircraft decades ago when the ganja export trade flourished. A police source told the news that on Saturday, bamboo with lights attached were reportedly seen on either side of the road used as a makeshift airstrip. A preliminary probe into the circumstances surrounding the discovery of the burnt-out aircraft included a theory that the plane might have been involved in suspicious activity. Hope in violence rocked Salt Spring after 40 days of prayer. Salt Spring resident Rochelle Colley Mackenzie says it was a mere coincidence that she came up with the idea of having the community engage in 40 days of prayer in the hope of restoring peace and safety to close what was a bloody 2023 for the St. James neighborhood. However, the religious significance cannot be missed as some Christians view Jesus' 40-day fast in the wilderness, as told in the scriptures, as a test of faith and strength to overcome human frailties. According to Colley Mackenzie, the need for a community-based response to the violence was evident as children and adults were fearful for their lives after multiple double murders and a triple murder. Colley Mackenzie told the news that after their plans to host a community walkthrough were stunted as the police advised against the gatherings, she came up with the idea to host a virtual initiative with the help of the churches and the Salt Spring Community Development Committee. I was just sitting one day and the thought came to me that we still need to continue in prayer, so I had the idea to have all the pastors who were supposed to take part in the original initiative to just pray for Salt Spring for the rest of the year, said Colin McKenzie, president of Salt Spring Community Outreach Program for Empowerment. She said the initiative kicked off on November 21 and ended on New Year's Eve, and while she was disappointed that they were unable to gather in prayer with the residents, Colin McKenzie said the community groups were effective in bringing the word to the residents. We started with pastors praying every morning for the community, sending prayers out through the various community groups. We used the church groups, the community-based organization groups, and the CDC groups, she told the news. From the 18th to the 24th of December, we had 7 days of fasting, so instead of 1 prayer each morning, we had 3 prayers. I made a roster, so whichever church was responsible for that day, they had 2 additional evangelists from that church praying for the community, said Colin McKenzie. While last year's flare-up of violence drove fear into the community, Colin McKenzie told the news that residents were left feeling a sense of peace after the prayer initiative ended. The SSCOPE president also pointed out that the Jamaica Constabulary Force and other state agencies have played a significant role in restoring this level of calm across the community. So far, the testimonies have been great coming from the community. We are hopeful, as the sense of fear that was pervasive throughout the community when the violence flared up the other day is not the same, she explained. The residents interacted and engaged with the prayers in their groups. One person messaged me to say it was a brilliant initiative and she is feeling more hopeful. Everybody came together, hands, hearts, and prayers to do this, Colin McKenzie added. Pastor Carl Wisdom of Salt Spring Pentecostal Church believes the 40 Days of Prayer initiative came at a time when the people of Salt Spring were living in fear for their lives. He echoed the disbelief that it has restored the faith and the peace in the community. I think it accomplished what it was supposed to do, and it was well received by the residents. The other ministers that I have spoken to also thought it was a needed move. People in the community said that it brought back a sense of calm, peace, and safety again. It was good that all the churches joined together, Pastor Wisdom told the news. Reverend Conrad Thomas of Salt Spring Baptist Church agreed, saying that the 40 Days of Prayer was the perfect response by the community groups and the churches at a time when violence rocked the hearts and homes of the residents. I think that was the kind of response that ought to be given by a community that is punctuated with so many churches. There are several responses that we could have given to the situation in Salt Spring. I believe that the security forces responded, and I believe that the church, in collaboration with the community, responded, said Reverend Thomas. I believe it created a dent in the community because at no point did I come across anybody in my community after the institution of 40 Days of Prayer who said they were fearful. It did not affect the people coming to worship. While pointing out that the police also played their part, Reverend Thomas said he was happy that the efforts brought joy to the community. In addition to the 40 Days of Prayer, we as a church were engaged in personal prayer and fasting. I believe that the combination with the police created the kind of impact we witnessed to the point that we were able to host our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, he said. The Christmas tree lighting ceremony was sponsored by Jamaica Social Investment Fund. It was riveting to see the kids play, to hear the music play, and to see the symbol of hope that came from the little tree. I want to say kudos to the organizers of the initiative. I believe that it made a significant dent in the fabric of Salt Spring and the surrounding communities, the Reverend added.